to be able to put a name with a face. See some old faces, so it's great to see a lot of you guys on this call tonight. My area coordinators, I don't have everyone in my view, so I see Claire and I see Augusta. So I don't know if everyone is here tonight. They've all been invited, but I will give them an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then I'll say a couple of things about the Office of Community Living. And then if you have questions, I think you guys have a process of how you accept or review questions. But we're here to, be a support and listen, and just to be in the space with you all. So I'll go ahead and we'll do it in order. We'll go, if AJ's here, I don't see him. We'll go AJ, Augusta, Kate, and Claire, if you're all here tonight.
I don't think AJ is. So hello, I'm Augusta. I am the area coordinator for Seton and White House. I spent a year and a half at University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. And before that, I was in grad school at University of Toledo.
I don't see Kate on the call either, so I'm just going to go ahead. Hi, everyone. My name is Claire Russell. I'm the area coordinator for Twin, Fisk, and Ingham. So I have two of my staff here on this call right now, so that's pretty fun. I graduated from Albion, and I was on Student Senate for 4 years. I served as the Appropriations Vice Chair for 2 and the CFO for 1, and I wrote the election guidelines in their first draft. So I know you all just started elections, so good luck. If you need anything, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help out or answer any questions. And then I went to grad school at NYU, and then I'm most recently coming to you all from Indiana University. So I'm really excited to be here tonight because I loved Senate so much. I'll pass it back to Marcus.
Great, thank you guys. And actually I just sent Kate and AJ a quick message. I don't know where they are physically. I know they're working because they're actually texting me about other work related items. So they're somewhere. So hopefully they will be able to join us shortly. Alexa, turn alarm off. So something really quickly. Our office is transitioning from the Office of Residential Life to the Office of Community Living. I think some of the purpose and reason behind that is because we want to put more of an emphasis on community living. That's the residential experience, how you guys are doing in the residence halls. Hopefully some of you have just participated in our quality of life survey. We actually got some really good feedback about the amenities and your experiences in the residence halls. But I even think about today's protest as an act of community and what it means to be a part of community living. And hopefully you saw some of our RAs, CAs, community advisors, which is what they'll be called in the fall, as well as some of our area coordinators present there as well. I was unfortunately able to physically be there, but Christina Crawford and I listened from the balcony in the Kellogg Center, and it was wonderful to hear the excitement, the energy, the togetherness, and just to hear from students about how they're experiencing and going through a lot of the issues that we're facing here in the residence halls. So Skylar and Olivia and the team invited us maybe 3 or 4 weeks back to come to tonight's meeting. I think the goal was to initially talk about housing, but obviously over the last couple of weeks, some other things hey, Kate, there she is. Obviously over the last couple of weeks, a couple other things have been brewing in the residence halls and bubbling up. So I will talk a little bit about room selection process because that was my initial ask. But if you have other questions about how you want to move forward with us and our presence in this space, I'm more than willing to respond to those questions. So some of you may or may not know, but this year we are introducing a brand new living concept. It's called Intentional Living Communities. We have some of the standard things that we're bringing back in terms of the second year experience, which is in Mitchell Towers. We have petitions, we have housing accommodations, but the ILCs, Intentional Living Communities, is a brand new initiative that we brought on board. And it was an opportunity for students to kind of select a living space where they would have common themes and programs and ideas and activities and housing and a space that they would want to live with other folks with similar passions, hobbies, and beliefs. The 5 that we have for fall 21, let me see if I do it off the top of my head. We have one for substance-free housing. So those are students who want to live a substance-free life. We have another one for our global house, which is comprised of international students and a couple of domestic students. So they want to do some international sort of global landscaping programs and activities. We have one called the Soul Sisters House, which is a group of women, primarily AKAs. So we're really excited about them having a house with us on campus. That is huge news in case you haven't soaked that in. That's huge news that we were able to bring the AKAs and the Soul Sisters on board. We have another house that's focused on the Anna Howard Shaw themes and programs. And then we have another house that's on women's I don't know how they phrase it, but it's on women's initiatives, women's interest. So those are all 5 wonderful houses. And folks who don't know, we actually own a number of units on campus, houses on campus in the general vicinity of our central campus. And so we're opening up these opportunities, these houses for these students to kind of come together. And like I said, have some common unity, some common programming, some common goals, some common living lifestyle, things that they want to see for themselves. The other thing that we're doing is all the other traditional stuff. We opened up our apartments process today for folks who want to apply for an apartment. I think I see a number of upperclassmen. I actually see a number of you in apartments right now. So I'm not going to go through all of our various apartments. But then next week we'll open up our suite style process. And then the week after that, we'll open up Seton Hall for folks who want to apply to live in Seton Hall. So it's really exciting time for our office. It's a lot of change. There's a lot of transformation, a lot of transitioning to some new exciting things. We hope that you guys are excited. We had a lot of great applicants for our ILCs this year. We actually had about 8 different groups apply. And so we really want to make sure that we picked people who are really serious and really intentional about intentional living communities. So we're really excited to bring those on board. So if you have any questions about room selection process or about other things that are happening in the residence halls, I'll stop there and see if you have any questions. But also I want to give Kate an opportunity to log on and introduce herself really, really quickly as well, since she joined our group. I'm not sure about AJ, if he's on here yet.
Hi guys, my camera's off because definitely forgot. So my hair is up in a nice towel, ready to go for bed. But my name's Kate. I'm the area coordinator for apartments and fraternities, and I am connected with a lot of you I see on this call. So I'm glad to be here and excited to help you guys.
All right, Olivia, if you guys have any questions or things you'd like for me to address or talk about, I'm more than willing to do so.
Sure, we can take a look in the chat. If anybody has a comment or question, you can write a C or a Q in the chat. I had one right off the bat. I was just going to ask, I really love the idea of the ILCs, and I know that we're starting them next semester, but is this something that we can expect to be a growing program or kind of sit where it is? Is there like intentions on bringing this kind of community like living and increasing it in size and like depth and things like that, or is this our 5 opportunities to live in an ILC house?
No, I mean, there's a number of different projects and proposals that are floating out there. And so I do believe that there's an opportunity for the ILCs to grow. I also know that the college is looking to, create a Village 1 and a Village 2 if everything comes together for more housing across the entire Albion community. So in my mind, and far as I can tell, yeah, we're looking to grow these programs to have more students be able to self-select and self-apply for intentional living communities. So, yep, we're looking to, as far as I know, we're looking to expand this program for years to come. But again, things can change. But for now, we're headed that direction.
Right. Awesome. I know our Senate knows about things changing and that everything is turned upside down.
I apologize to Kimberly for setting off your Alexa. My bad. That's funny.
Love it. Yeah. Any more questions? You just write a C or Q in the chat. And then if there's no questions or comments, feel free to keep writing in the chat if there is. Looks like we have one right now from Tassi and then Jim. So how about Tassi? You can go first.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out the entire staff of Residential Life. I mean, I know that this wasn't an easy year for you guys to do your job. And I think that it's so awesome how you guys still found the time to come up with new and improved ideas for housing next year. So I just wanted to shout out you guys for that, because I might not be here, but I'm really excited for other people to get these awesome opportunities. So.
And thank you for that comment, Tassi. It's great to see you as well.
And then we can go with Jim.
Yeah, I had 2. So the first one has to do with I was speaking to a freshman peer who lives in Wesley, and they mentioned that a lot of the rooms in Wesley are singles now on account of a lot of people, leaving. And I guess I wanted to see if there was anything more to that, because basically, not that I personally would have a problem with having a single in Wesley, but I guess I wanted to know if there was any additional information you had about that situation.
Yeah, I think if anything, and I can't tell you the numbers in terms of how much of an increase, we definitely have seen an increase in residency exemptions this year. One of the things that we did, obviously you guys know because we went remote and became online with our classes, is that we had a number of students who apply for residency exemption for medical needs. We historically have not had this number of people, but COVID, as you all have mentioned, and you probably know and experience, COVID has allowed for students with, severe critical medical needs who living on campus probably is not the best fit for them. And so again, I wouldn't go as far as say a lot. I would say there has been an increase of residency exemptions. But now that we're going 100% in person for fall 21, I expect all of these rooms to be filled for fall 21. You had a second question. Go ahead, Jim.
I did have a second question. I have heard a lot about Greek life housing and changes in it in the upcoming years. I assume that since you're in charge of housing, you would have been a part of those conversations. I was wondering, is there any update that you can give to those of us who live in fraternities or are a part of sororities and might be seeing housing in the future?
Absolutely. So I've been part of the Greek Life Task Force, and that task force has a number of subcommittees. What I can tell you is that the subcommittee that I'm working on is basically, we're in charge of reimagining the Greek life experience for all of our students on campus. And so the advisors and the student members and some of the presidents, as well as, Kristen Sarniak from Greek Life and Clarence, from Campus Life, and Clarence Sturgis from Campus Life, we're staff part of these different subcommittees. But we're basically charging, the advisors and the students to reimagine what your needs are for Greek housing, for Greek villages. I'm not sure if you're familiar with other institutions across America, but like if you look at Bowling Green State University, which is a school that we looked at really close. I hate to mention Bowling Green, by the way. I'm a Rocket. So I'll just put that out there, right, Augusta? So anyway, we did look at other schools like Bowling Green University and told people to reimagine what you think the Greek life experience should look like. How big should the buildings be? How small should they be? What kind of amenities? Where about a location? Tell us about some of the rules and things. What makes a Greek house truly a Greek formal house? And so some of you actually may be in part of these groups. I'm not sure if, I can't see everyone. So I don't know if anyone on this call is part of our subcommittee groups. But we actually have a task to, I think, President Johnson by May that we submit to him a proposal of what the sort of new envisioning, new reimagining of what Greek life, at least the housing part of what Greek life can look like here at Albany College for many years to come. And so I believe the advisors are really excited. I mean, with anything, change can sometimes be a little bit reluctant. People can be a little bit hesitant to jump to change, but I see it as an awesome opportunity. And so we've also met with a number of the different athletic coaches who also have students who are Greek members, and they're trying to get students and advisors on board with just reimagining the entire, so just kind of just blow your mind in terms of what do you think are the needs and the critical needs of the Greek life system and Greek life housing, and how can we move forward to make some of those things come to reality and come to life. I think the other bigger picture to that, and this is something that you all may or may not be aware of, those houses are structured to currently house about 50 students. And right now we're not being filled to that capacity. And so there are questions on the table in terms of, what can we do to either bring in and emphasize better recruitment for Greek life, but B, can we also provide different structures where students feel like, we don't have these 25 or 30 empty beds every semester. Because to be honest with you, it is a loss in revenue. And so if we have larger freshman classes and larger transfer classes, and we're looking to grow and expand here at Albany College, we're going to need places for people to live, which is partly a big part of what I do here at Albion. So it's an ongoing conversation. I think it's an exciting time. Again, sometimes people are hesitant to change, but once you get them on board and you get people rolling on the right train, it's an exciting ride. So that's just some of the things. I don't like to get in too many weeds with housing operations. It's not the most sexiest part of my job, but I'm here to answer any questions you have about it.
I think Tassi had a follow-up actually in the.
Go ahead, Tassi.
So you said it's a loss in revenue. And I know that there's this thing right now that the fraternities owe the college money for not filling those beds. But wouldn't it only be a loss in revenue if there was students to fill those beds and we weren't allowing those students onto campus because we don't have beds to or housing for those students? So personally, I guess I just don't think saying that it's a loss in the revenue makes sense.
Yeah, well, it will be a loss. That's a great point. I mean, you're doing the mathematical science of all of this right now, right? The thing that people have to imagine and have to keep in the back of their mind is that we're not just planning for fall 21. We're planning for Albion for the next 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. And so right now, while it may not be, butting heads against heads and trying to put doubles or triples and doubles and quads and triples, we might get to that point. I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to grow enrollment. So it's not just about fall 21, but it's about fall 23 and fall 25 and fall 27. And so we are looking to expand and grow the Albion College experience academically, co-curricular, housing, meal options, excitement downtown. We are only looking to grow and expand the college. And we can't wait to the last minute to make those changes. So we need to make those changes now. Otherwise, we're going to have students living in, I don't even want to think about how crazy we might have to get, how creative and crazy we might have to get if we don't better prepare for the future now.
I see Dr. Johnson has raised a hand. I'll click into that real fast, and then we can go back to our speakers list in the chat of the Q&C.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in quick and point out that it is real lost revenue. We have a contract with the fraternities. They committed to pay for 45 beds in each fraternity hall. That's a contractual obligation they have. It's lost revenue. We budgeted on that revenue and we don't get it. So it's lost revenue.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome, Dr. J, as well. And then, okay, so I have Kim with a question next.
Hi, guys. Oh, sorry. I have to talk on my phone, so that's why there's two of me. My computer's a little all over the place. Oh, right. I have a minute. Oh, okay. So this is sort of a question for Marcus. It's about housing, but I've had a couple students come up to me that were traveling abroad for the next semester, and they're just a little confused about their housing situation when they get back. So I know for a lot of people, it's not for a lot of people. For some people, it's easy to make those connections with people. Oh, you're graduating early. I'll just move into your housing. You have friends to do that with and people and different clubs and sports. But for some people, it's just a little bit more confusing, and it's not uncertainty. That's a little scary for some people. So is there since Albion's been doing study abroad for so long, is there a set thing that you guys do to sorry
Yes, we do,
there a
Kim,
set
and I
thing that
appreciate
you
you.
guys do to help those students coming back to find that housing that is best fit for them?
Absolutely. That's a great question, Kim. And as you have classmates who may have these questions, it's imperative that you redirect them back to our office so that if they are feeling nervous or a little bit hesitant or scared about how to sign up for housing in the spring, basically of 22, that we do have a process. We try not to overwhelm students with that information now because it's literally 8 months from now. But what happens, just so that you kind of have an overview, is that around October, November is when we reach out to those students and we let them know what's the process to select housing for spring 22. I'm trying to think, it's so far ahead. So, but basically we also have a roommate compatibility survey, especially if they've been gone and may not have made connections with friends while they were away, whether they're in Philadelphia or overseas or wherever they're at. We have a roommate compatibility survey that we'll send to them, and they get into a database where they have an opportunity where we help them connect with a student that has similar living options and living lifestyles. But we don't really send out a whole lot of that information until about October, November, when it's about time for them to start planning to come back to campus for spring 22. But you're absolutely right. We've been doing this for years. We have a process. It's not widely communicated because you don't want to communicate it too early because people forget, but we also don't want to communicate it too late because then people start to get nervous and start to get a little bit antsy about where they're going to live for spring 22. But I know there are people on this call right now who are gone from fall 21 who are back from spring 22, and it's a pretty streamlined process, right, Latrell? We figure it out for you. We'll get you settled. You'll be okay. But yes, for students, no, they'll get more information as it gets closer to those dates.
Yeah, I think most of the concerns that I heard were more I'm going to be a junior. I don't want to live in Wesley, that kind of thing. Or something like, oh, I'm going to be a second semester senior, like I don't really want to live in Wesley, like with like paired with like a freshman roommate. No offense to freshmen, they're great, but you know.
Yeah, I totally understand. So yeah, we will do our best to make sure that we put our upperclassmen with our upperclassmen, but again, it's based on capacity and our availability to do so. But it's a pretty straightforward process. It's I would consider it worrisome, but I can understand why somebody would be a little bit worried a month in advance if you plan so far in advance, like a lot of people do.
Yeah, good question, Kim. I know we will miss you if you are going away for a semester. Big hole in our hearts for that, but awesome. So next question I see from Dean Wright. I hope, are you still good with that, Dean?
Thank you, Olivia. I just wanted to comment that Res Life has been doing due diligence to try to navigate through these current issues on our campus. So I just wanted to give Marcus and his team the space to, first of all, say thank you, but then also, how are you supporting students through this crisis, this issue on our campus, so that they know that you all are doing what you need to do to be supporting students. So I know that you all have been engaged in a variety of dialogues and meetings and conversations. So thank you for that. If you want to expand on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has been our new top priority amongst all of our other running top priorities. So at times I wonder, how do we get so much done with so much on our plate? But we just find time to do it. We do what we have to do to be here for our students. You guys are our primary focus. You're our number one focus. Without you, there's no reason for us to be here. I know you guys probably hear that and people say it all the time, but it's reality. It's the truth. It's facts. So I think one ways, or a couple ways, that we're trying to support and respond to these racist and hate crimes that we're having in our residence halls is being available, being visible, walking with you guys in these protests. As I said earlier, I was unable to physically be there, but I was determined to listen to the crowd, listen to the energy, follow as much as I could and what was happening. But also I support my community assistants, my community advisors, my area coordinators to be there for you guys. We're having floor meetings, hall meetings, one-on-one conversations, two-on-one conversations. We want to make sure that you guys realize that we're here for you. We're here to support you. We'll actually be having a plethora, about 4 or 5 different we're calling them community conversations on Wednesday of this week. They'll be in person, as well as we might have one virtually in the evening. This is part of a partnership with the Office of Campus Life. So Jen Yawson, Clarence, Christina Crawford, our brand new Sharice Mathis, Kristen Sarniak, we're all teaming up together with a bunch of, I call them like rock star faculty, to host these different platforms and conversations with you all, just so that we can have a dialogue. The other thing that we're doing is we're vigilant. We are trying our best. I wish I could, I'm not lying to you. We are trying our best to trying to find out who's doing these writings on the wall. And so that's an increase in doubling up on rounds. I know Kate, if she's still on the call, she can talk about, she doesn't have to go into details, but she was in Mitchell Towers for a number of hours a day, just doing rounds, just walking around, connecting with students. We are trying our hardest in finding ways. And shout out to Dr. Johnson for coming up with $1,000 reward. That's a hefty reward that we're hoping will lead us to some solid tips and some solid leads. So all of our reports, all of our conversations with you guys helps the investigation. Albion Police is currently involved in the investigation, so it's no longer just like at the RA level or even at the director community level. It's really a serious matter that we are hoping that we find out who's doing this, because it needs to stop. And so listening to the conversations today from the quad, what I really enjoyed is hearing students say that they don't believe Albion is a racist institution. They don't believe Albion is trying to hide anything, that they want to be on the same page with students, and that students need to be a voice, and that the community needs to come together and heal and process through these hate crimes. And so I heard that as sort of a synonymous theme throughout the entire, people kind of stepping up and saying what was on their heart and what was on their minds. So, we're doing anything and everything we can to be there for our staff. We really want to catch this person and make sure that, Dean Wright has already put it out there that this person will be suspended at minimum, if not, expelled completely from the college. So I would think it's expulsion at this time, but that's not my call. But we're making ourselves available. We're trying to catch this person, and we're also, responding back to the people who are directly impacted. By the way, one of our RAs was directly impacted, which really broke my heart. It breaks my heart to have this happen to any of our students, but let alone one of our student staff members, a person I know very, very closely. So, it's despicable. It's disgusting. It's hateful messaging. It's not what Albion's about. It's not what our office is about. And so, we just thank you guys for being in the fight with us, along with us. So we're out here trying to fight hate as much as we can.
I see Kate's comment in the chat, and I didn't know that. I'm a resident of Mitchell Towers. I'm also an RA in Mitchell Towers, and I didn't know that cameras were added. Kate, I mean, do you want to speak a little on that? I think hopefully that's a lead in the right direction there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly preventative for now, like to just help us try and do our best, as many guards up as we can have. You know, you can only walk the hall so many times, as you know, on rounds and stuff. It's not easy to catch anything happening when they know that you're walking around. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good step in the right direction for at least everyone else's safety and security in the building for now.
Yeah, I think that offers some peace of mind. I feel a little bit more at ease now in my current living situation. So maybe there's, some communication about that. Maybe not. Maybe we keep that on the down low.
Yeah, I'm actually going to ask that we do keep. I mean, I know we just told a lot of people. I do ask that we keep it down low because it does defeat the purpose, right? If everyone that there's now new cameras up, then the person stops doing what they're doing. So, yeah, I do ask that we keep it on the down low as much as possible. But again, it's we have cameras up already, but we adding the additional cameras adds an additional layer of security. So.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
But I also want to point out, again, there are a number of things that we're doing that are investigatory that we can't necessarily share with you all because, again, it defeats the purpose of investigating. I mean, it's not like when you watch a movie, you see what the cops and the robbers are doing. But on this side, unfortunately, we can't show you our complete hand, but just know that we have a number of things in place to try to help catch who's doing these things. Unfortunately, we can't go into great detail about everything.
Right. Understood. Yeah. Thank you. I actually have Lindy as the next question.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm really excited for people in the future at Albion to have all these awesome housing opportunities. I'm honestly a little bit jealous because they seem really cool as an outgoing senior. But I was just wondering for the Wesley, the towers, everything, are you planning on updating any of those living places? Because I do know coming to Albion, comparing the residences with the other colleges I was looking at, that was a bit of a downfall for me personally, but I just didn't know if you had any plans to update those at all.
Well, I know the current large project that we're doing with Wesley is bringing in that food hub, and I don't know if any of you guys have been over to Wesley, but if you go down to the basement, you will not remember. It will not resemble anything that you've seen. So we're currently tearing the ceiling and the carpet up and repainting, and we're going to be reimagining and refocusing and repurposing that basement floor of Wesley for the food hub. And I guess the question for you, in my mind, I know what kind of upgrades and renovations I think Wesley needs. But as a student who lived there, if you had to pick a couple of projects in Wesley, what are some things that you would like to recommend that we focus on in the future of that building? I know I have like I said, I have a couple in my mind, but what would you suggest as some good projects for us to tackle in the future?
I actually never lived in Wesley. I started out in Seton, and the only thing was just kind of updating maybe utility sinks and stuff. That was my thing. But yeah, I think that the food hub is a great idea, and I'm glad to see that that's already getting renovations and you're already started on that. So thank you.
Yeah, my number one answer would be the bathrooms, right? The bathrooms if we could renovate and upgrade anything in Wesley, I would shoot at those bathrooms. And the bathrooms are clean. And I know a lot of times people say they're not clean enough, but they're old bathrooms. You can only scrub a spot for so many years and so deeply. It's just a deep stain that cannot come out. But our ABM staff does a great job of going in and cleaning several times a day, especially now with COVID. But it may not look clean just because it's so old. And again, I know we're having issues right now with some of the draining and some of the drains in Wesley. But for me, in terms of a long-term immediate project, that would be, as a director of community living, if I had a seat at the table, that would be the one area that I would push for in terms of renovations for Wesley would be the bathrooms. I think if we could tackle that, it would improve people's satisfaction with the building immensely.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just gonna have a suggestion as well, to fix stuff up. I might just be being bougie aesthetically, but the what's it called? The main lounge, not the one where you walk in. I lived in Wesley freshman year, but not the one where you walk in, but the one that joins on the second floor. You know, that whole where the pool table is and everything. I feel like you could sort of redo that. I know everything in there is relatively new, but the greens and the purples and the oranges don't really go together. So it sort of looks like a mishmash of just things that you put in a room to like entertain people. So and like the couches, like all great, like really good bones, but like I feel like you could sort of redo like the color pattern and make it like maybe like purple and gold and like whites and metals and like something nicer. And I feel like that would just like bring a breath of fresh air to the building because it is a really old building, and just like some like, so it's like putting like flowers up somewhere that has like some cracks in it, you know. It's just, it'll just make everything a little bit better.
Absolutely. And so that would probably be my second answer is it would be the lounge, be the shared community. And for folks who don't know, who haven't been in Seton in a while, we actually did that to Seton this last summer. So it would be my goal that every summer we try to take on a new lounge. So Wesley, and then maybe Mitchell, and then maybe White House. Actually, White House has got a renovation probably most recently before Seton. But if you haven't been over to Seton, Seton looks amazing. It does have matching furniture and a brand new TV and a whiteboard that you can write on the wall. And so new carpet and new flooring. And then they're going to upgrade and come back and upgrade that kitchen back once we actually are allowed to have kitchens and kitchenettes in the residence halls that are usable. So that would probably be my second answer, would be the lounges in Wesley.
Yeah, I love the Seton Lounge. I wish I lived in Seton for that lounge. And that renovation looks really good. Okay, so next I have in the chat Jim.
Oh, I'm good. I was going to ask about cameras, but I think that's already been discussed.
Awesome. And then I have Matt.
Yeah, I was going to talk about parking because I feel like if we're admitting so many new students, we need somewhere to park. I'm allowed to park where the Twin, kind of like the big lot next to Twin, and like kind of the slants next to Twin, and those were all filled one day, and it was pouring down snow, so I had to park on the street, and I got to take it from the city. So maybe like, you know, making like, we have land, I know places, so maybe like making that like a parking like kind of complex or something, but more parking would be nice.
Yeah, I can definitely relay that message over to campus safety. And I would agree, like when it snows, it's definitely harder to find space on campus. So I'll make sure I relay that over to them.
All right, and then Tassie.
I was just asking about the cameras. I just thought there was already cameras, because like this has been my confusion. Like I just thought there was already cameras in those staircases, but apparently there's not. But now there's spy cameras there, so that's good.
Again, I don't want to go into too many details because it will defeat the purpose of the investigation, but there are some areas that are visible in some of the stairwells in some parts of Mitchell somewhere. So you're not completely wrong.
All right. And then I had Kim again with a comment. I didn't mean to say it like again. I just didn't know if that was the other comment you made was the one.
No, it was about the cameras as well. I was just going to say, I know people have had like, especially last year, like a lot of mixed feelings about the cameras in residence halls and everything like that. And we had a big discussion in Senate last year, especially about cameras in specifically Wesley and different places, but specifically Wesley. And I feel like cameras in Wesley and Twin are a completely different situation. I obviously didn't live in Twin last year, but having like that view now, cameras in Wesley, because of the community bathrooms, like are just like a sort of a no-go. But in Twin, it's a completely different situation. I feel like you could put cameras wherever you wanted, and it really wouldn't be a privacy violation to anyone. So I feel like that's much like, it's a whole different conversation when we have that topic in like a class or in a group of friends or in any like sort of setting.
It's definitely a hot topic, and I appreciate the feedback. You're right. It's a sensitive subject.
Yeah, we had debate last year about it on Senate, and we had people coming and brought it up to us. We really couldn't come down on one side or the other on it. I think now in recent light of things, I think people will be a lot more open to it. Obviously, you heard Kim's side, but yeah, we've muddled over that too. Not sure how much say we would have had in that, but I think when the question was presented to a student senate, we grappled with that. Okay, so next I have Jonah with a comment.
Yeah, I guess partly to do with the cameras, but I was curious, much like today, the demonstration that was organized where students were able to put their input on pieces of paper and then, hoping that moves forward into impactful change. I guess I'm wondering, perhaps Marcus or Dr. J can answer this, but is there somewhat of a system like that going forward? Because it seems that collectively as senators, we have a lot of, different suggestions for both residence life, parking, and the like. Is there a form or a place where we can kind of coagulate those different ideas and bring it to like a committee that hears over that for future years? I'm kind of just, I guess that's part of my question regarding that. So, for example, like with the cameras or existing policies, is there anywhere where that input is, I guess, taken more into consideration rather than just at one meeting whereas it's like documented?
I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but I would like to think Student Senate could come up with that sort of opportunity for students to come to you guys with concerns that you guys want to champion as sort of the voices and the leaders and the faces of the college. I know if a student comes to me directly, I take their recommendation very seriously. In fact, Latrell was actually part of my student advisor group board last year that I started in spring, right before we had to leave before COVID. And we were definitely going to implement a number of ideas. And again, it was interesting because we were talking about closets and whether it should have doors or not and all these other things. But for me, if students bring feedback to me that I can implement, I love to hear it. That's why we have a quality of life survey. Our goal is to take that information and enhance our services. But again, I would like to think Student Senate could take that on, right? Like, can you guys come up with a process where students come to you with how their experience is going on college, and then you guys can champion those things on behalf of your peers and your classmates? That's just a thought that I have.
And I would just add that this is the traditional role of a student senate, is to speak and collect information on behalf of the student body, as you all have done in the past, and then sharing that information or coming up with strategies and ideas to better support the student body and the student experience. So that's the goal of Student Senate, is to be able to navigate with all constituents, particularly students, in supporting issues, concerns, as well as creating positive change or leaving your legacy in every administration that comes through with Senate. So just like Jim and as a predecessor to his presidency, he was actively engaged in representing the student voice as an example of voting on campus, in creating opportunities for students to come together, to be registered to vote, to exercise their vote, and things like that. Student Senate has the goal, and whatever the platform that Olivia would carry out for the rest of the semester, is to make sure that that platform was held or put into place because of the feedback from the student body. So don't forget, that's the role of Student Senate, is to collect that information and to come up with ideas and strategies for success.
Yeah, so Jonah, you might not have been here for this. I wasn't here for a lot of it. I saw the very end of it. We used to have cardboard up, and we would table, and we have it based on Res Life, and students would come up and write what was working, what wasn't working, what needed change. We have a lot of those sitting in our Senate office from years past. That was one way. I mean, it seems really simple, but I mean, it was a way to do it. A lot of times now, students, they're on their phones. Are they going to complete a survey, a quality of living survey? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we explore those other options like this, more hands-on things that Senate has done in the past. But that's a great question. All right, let me monitor the chat here. So I see Kim with a comment.
I'm sorry, Peach. I know you said Joan would be our last person. I can't find you here on my screen, but it's super fast, I promise. So going off sort of what Marcus, you were saying about sort of getting everyone's voices heard, and I think Latrell, you might have mentioned something about that as well. And in light of everything that's going on, we had talked about in our exec meeting doing a town hall. We have been sort of throwing this idea around for the past year. We even thought about it before all of this happened, but a town hall where we would have administrators, and Dr. J hopefully be there as well, and Res Life and any staff or faculty that wanted to come as well. And then any student, like the whole student body would be invited as well. And we would sort of talk through some of these issues and have more of a chance for clarity and transparency, which is very big. Transparency is something that I feel like a lot of students feel is missing, no matter how hard people put out emails, how hard people tell anyone anything. Perfect, thank you. It's just people aren't feeling it, you know. So we were playing with that. I don't know if Olivia, you wanted to like touch on that. I know we had talked about it in like a different capacity, but we don't know like what day or anything that would be. And Jason, I see you on here as well. You're pretty good at planning all this kind of stuff as well. So maybe you could be a part of that conversation too.
Yeah, among other things, it would have to be, obviously planned for. Dr. J has shown that he would make himself available. I see in the chat here. So we could definitely look over that. I think that was the goal, to have one of those type of meetings before we ended up with this closing Senate group here, and do that for the students' sake and not for ours. So we can talk further about that and coordinate with Dr. Johnson if that's something that we can fit in our next two Mondays, and everything like that. So I am going to close off the conversation. I love what we are doing here, and I love that Marcus is able to facilitate and answer all of our questions. So thank you for that, and thank you to the area coordinators on here.
If I can say one more thing, I'm sorry, Olivia, I don't mean to cut you off. If I can say one more thing. Our office has moved from Ferguson over to the Kellogg Center. We're currently on the 3rd floor. So if you remember where old CPO Campus Life is we're actually right across the hall from them. And so I encourage you all to stop by. I mean, after the protest today, the AKA stopped by, a couple RA stopped by. I mean, I may not be able to give you a whole 30 minutes. Latrell stops by. I may not give you a whole 30 minutes, but I will acknowledge you. I will interact with you. I will talk to you. And I want to interact with you. It's just a busy time, but please stop by and talk to us and let us know how you're doing. Even if it's just say, hi, how you doing, Marcus? And I'm on my way to class. Like, I'll take it. That actually rejuvenates me. It gets me excited. It gets me, refocused back onto the whole purpose of why we're doing here. I'm not just here to push the emails across the screen all day long. So please stop by our office, even if it's just to say hello, is what I'm saying. So thank you all for inviting myself and my team tonight. Hopefully this is not the last time you'll invite us. We're more than happy to come back in the future. But thank you so much for allowing us to have this space.
Absolutely. Thank you to you. Thank you to our area coordinators who are having to have those tough conversations and do their job, but also do the other things that come along unexpectedly to the job. So thank you, everyone. And thank you for joining us at a late hour. I always say that to our special guests because for some people, it's past their bedtime. So not Marcus, apparently.
This is what we do. This is what we do in community living. So we're used to it. We're built for it. Thank you, guys.
Got it. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you guys for being great conversationalists there, having great questions. This is what it's about. When you hear it from students, this is the time to facilitate that, get those questions answered, redirect, point those students to the right places is the big theme here, and just do your best as a student rep. So this is a big deal. Thanks, guys. I will now move. I'm going to hand most of the microphone to our Vice President Peach. This week she's done a lot of great work this past week. She's done a lot of great work for Senate and just have some quick updates for us. So I'm seeing Rhonda in the chat. Oh, let me type my email real quick. Or we can email the Senate email, but yeah, that's something we'd like to get involved in. But yeah, I'm going to pass a lot of the speaking for our new business to Peach. Please be respectful of Peach, and I thank you all for having your cameras on. I love seeing your faces. Also, if I didn't mention already, thank you to our guest for being here and sticking around and hearing all this out. So I'll pass it to Peach.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. First, I wanted to start with our student leader of the week, Lauren. I believe you are here somewhere.
I'm here.
Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on Student Leader of the Week. We're very happy to have you here. We'd love it if you could tell us a little bit about what you're doing on campus, what you're involved in, and what it means to you to be a student leader here on campus.
Ooh, so I'm Vice President of Environmental Club in AUW. I'm a student worker in the archive, and I work a lot with like community outreach and exhibits and that kind of thing. I TA and tutor for geology, and I'm on the FIRSTCA committee, and I also am like an intern for FIRSTCA and help work their social medias and highlighting student researchers. I really like being involved in these kinds of roles on campus, especially in things like FIRSTCA and getting students involved in research. That's probably one of my favorite parts. And it's nice to be able to work with faculty too, and bringing new students in and getting new opportunities is really great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We will have a certificate and a little token of our appreciation that will be given to you at some point. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting, or you can hop on off. No worries.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you so much. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move right along. So we're going to start with Chris and budget approvals.
Hey everyone. Hope you're all doing well. First, I'd like to apologize for my voice. Seasonal allergies are finally upon us, but we'll get right into budgets. So as always, all these budgets have been reviewed and approved by the Appropriations Committee. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop and ask. Yes, Tassie?
Did all the budgets have dates on them this week?
Yes, they did, Tassie. Thank you for asking that. All right, we'll get started. So Alpha Phi Omega is requesting $415.80. AKA is requesting $150. Core is requesting $793.60. SVB is requesting $65.70. APO is requesting $557.12, and the Albion Review is requesting $1,760. Any questions? Awesome. If not, I guess, Olivia, do you want to do this part? Yeah. Or
Well, yeah,
Peach?
you can ask too. Can I have a motion to approve these budgets? And then,
Yeah. Can I please hear a motion to approve these budgets?
I motion to approve the budgets.
Second.
okay, and then any opposition can be written in the chat or said aloud. Looks like we're good there. So motion passes and budgets are good. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Chris. All right, moving right along. Next up is going to be ASA and voting on Student Leader of the Week. Maybe. Is ASA here?
I don't think Skylar is here, and I'm not sure about the Student Leader of the Week. I know we voted on it, but he was like the final vote.
Oh, I know who it was. I think. Wasn't it LaRonda Austin?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Hey!
I was making dinner and I remembered that.
Can we get a motion to approve?
I motion to approve LaRonda as this week's Student Leader of the Week.
Second.
And it's approved. Thank you so much. Congratulations. We'll ask you to come to next week's meeting too. So yay.
Yeah, so we can formally recognize you. It doesn't happen every day that the one we nominate is on our call already. So that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. And then next up, we're going to move to our election update from Jim and Alex.
Okay. So I'm going to preface this by saying if you are a senior, you obviously won't be able to run for re-election, but please talk to your friends, your acquaintances, your classmates, people you randomly meet. The same holds true if you are not a senior, because as of this moment, only 6 people have come back to. Only 6 people have talked to me about getting their petitions filled out. And yeah, also Tasi, please do run for re-election. Your voice and your beacon to us all. I do need to hear back from 5 of you as to whether or not you are running. Please answer your GroupMe messages. I know GroupMe is an annoying group messaging app, but please, even if it's to tell me no, so that I don't have to waste time about it. Please do double check, and I will make you all your Google form petitions. And yes, I was actually going to ask people in charge of social media accounts on Senate to stay after just for 30 seconds to have a plan for tomorrow. On the bright side, we aren't going to need to. I don't think we'll have to do a primary at this rate. So for that reason, I'm comfortable extending the deadline to give people their time to get their petitions filled. So yeah. Now, I understand that under normal circumstances, since we're not amending the guidelines, I'm just proposing that we push the timeline back. That doesn't require approval, but I'd like to hear people's thoughts on that regardless. Because as of right now, the deadline and the campaign guidelines meeting is supposed to be in 2 days. And if the cutoff is right now, I just dropped my pencil, then we have 6 senators, a president, a vice president, and 4 senators. That's less than the size of our e-board. This is pretty bad. So again, talk to your friends. Seriously.
So my first thoughts on that really quick, just to get us started, is let's push it back and then let's get infographics out there like we were talking about. Let's all make a really big effort to get it out to anyone we know in student orgs or anyone on campus. Push it back and like really get that out there, and let's do a consecutive push, and then hopefully that'll get some more people.
I'd also like to add, and then we'll go with Kim. I am guilty of this. I haven't told Jim explicitly that I'm coming back, but I need to do that. So for those of you who haven't done that and you're like me and you're putting it off or you're ignoring text, please don't give us a heart attack and have Jim's job be harder. So let's really push that. For those of you who are in Ford and in other institutes, big deal. Your classmates, things like that, do some tapping your shoulders, and it's a great deal. I mean, Senate can be very rewarding, and I think you all know that. So I think just try your best here, and then we'll go with Kim's question, and we can have further discussion on pushing the deadline back, but let's stay focused on that exact, question at hand.
So just a quick question. Honestly, it's sort of out there, but I won't be here in the fall. So, I mean, could I possibly run for re-election? Not obviously to president or vice president, but like to my position now. I don't know. I probably wouldn't. I probably would be able to make them each Monday meeting, but I don't know what that time would look like for me, and also like the Wi-Fi situation. So I might be in some trouble with our chief of staff, whoever that might be, for missing some meetings. But I would just.
Yeah, no, honestly, if you're studying abroad, a couple people talked to me about that already, then I'm not pressuring people to run, and you do not have to stay up until 3 in the morning in whatever time zone you're in just to handle stuff. Focus on study abroad and rerun in the spring. That's what Andrea did. And yeah, that being said, I am a bit curious as to how study abroad is going to work this fall, because we still are kind of in a global pandemic. So hedge your bets.
Were you asking me how it was going to work, or were you just making a general comment?
Just saying that the reason I didn't run for re-election, 8 months ago, was because I was under the impression I'd be studying abroad. So it worked out for me in the end. It wasn't that hard to get back on here.
Okay, and then we'll go with Tasi.
I was just going to say, Patrick, could you by chance send out an email to Ford students and encourage them to run?
I just indicated to Olivia by side note that we would do something like that, yes.
Okay, that was my comment. And Kim, for yours, you can have a senator petition for you in the spring semester to get you back on Student Senate. You would just get voted right away. Somebody would just have to petition for you when you came back, since it's not that you're leaving the Senate, it's that you're studying abroad and you plan on coming right back to the Senate. So somebody can petition for you. There's a special rule for that.
Good to know. Thank you. Yeah, I think pushing back the deadline seems like the right move here. And I need to do a better job with the social media, and as well as Sam is helping me out, and Matt is also expressed interest in doing that type of thing. So we need to get that message out, because honestly, it might just be because people don't know. And we'll give them the benefit of the doubt there, and that we need to do a better job on that. Of course, everybody on this call is aware, but other students may not be. So that's the big deal here as we move into this week. And so repost, share. I'm going to get something out here ASAP, and that would be awesome if Patrick, you could jump in with the Ford stuff. Sorry, I'm taking away from Jim right now. Please go ahead with anything else you had, Jim.
That was really it. And I'll give an official back update for when we want to do our campaign meeting. It will probably be a week from this Wednesday, but I'm going to make sure that doesn't mess with the schedule too much.
Thanks. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim and Alex, for your hard work. We appreciate it. All right, so we're going to move on to the recent graduate trustee application committee. Do we have any updates from you all? Have you had the chance to meet, and has anything happened?
Yes, so we met yesterday and there was 11 total applicants. I sent out an email Sunday telling them to sign up for interview time. I heard back from 9. So the first interview is tomorrow at noon. And just like speaking on that, those of you who are in the committee, can you please sign up for the interview time slots? Because right now there's no one signed up for the interview tomorrow at noon besides me. So I probably should have more people. So that said, the deadline was today at 5 for anyone who just sign up for interviews. We have this week and next week to, I guess, interview. Then it's due April 16th at 5. And then I believe the last interview is Wednesday at 4:30. So Thursday, I want to plan on meeting again. Then we'll compile all the responses and then send them over to student development.
I was gonna just add one more thing, Austin. If you are having trouble filling that with your standing committee, right now I would suggest reaching out to anyone. We don't have to take volunteers today, but I mean anyone on Senate. I know that that's kind of a stretch. I personally am unavailable. I would volunteer my services to the committee. I also was going to suggest that maybe I sit on that committee as well, as just a last minute thought as president. I know in past years we've done that, but I wouldn't see anything against thoughtfully choosing someone to help out with that, or asking if there's anyone, because that needs to happen, and it needs to be more than one person in those interviews, I believe. If there's anything other than that, please let us know. But that's my suggestion to you. And I'm trying to do this contact sheet thing. But I'll is that all, Austin? Okay. Yeah. So I'll fix this. I know it's on view only. And then hopefully that'll be a good source of, getting everybody's numbers. I know GroupMe's crazy, so we need to move away from that. And move away from that. So I will give the mic back to Peach. I will figure out the Google form. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. We're going to move right along. All right, so I am going to give you some inauguration updates. I was able to meet with Hannah Matheson, and we were able to go over stuff. So I wanted to just give you guys a brief overview about it so you would have an idea of what to expect and what's coming up. So currently the theme is creating with courage, and the imagery that they're going to be using a lot of right now, or not right now, for the inauguration is the rock. And then they'll have like 20-something events throughout the week leading up to the inauguration. So we will be providing a list of when and what to all of you, and then we'll have a sign-up form to indicate your top 3 of what you're interested in. We'd love to be able to open it and just be like, show up if you can, but COVID and space capacity restrictions, so we are going to do the sign-up sheet, so everyone will get to do something they're interested in, hopefully to help represent Senate, get the chance to talk to people you might not have had the chance to meet or talk to except for this chance. So it's a really cool opportunity. There's going to be a groundbreaking ceremony for the new theater. There's going to be ribbon cuttings, luncheons. Yeah. And then there's also going to be a tie-dye event with t-shirts with goats on it, potentially. So I just wanted y'all to hear that from me first, because that made me laugh and I'm excited. So we will be asking for people's involvement and interest, trying to gauge who wants to be involved with the inauguration and helping to plan or represent Senate. Sassy, I already know. Yeah, I already figured that a lot of you would be interested. It sounds like it's a really cool. Oh, what inauguration? The inauguration that's happening May 7th, the day before graduation of Dr. J. I know he's been here for like a year, but COVID and it, you know, he's been settling in. So this is our chance to, he'll officially become, I mean, I guess he hasn't, but it's official. We did the same thing for Ditzler. We'll update you. Keep your eyes open for any messages if we need anything from you on that. Does anyone have any questions for me on that? Okay, cool. So next thing is Senate budget approval. So this is gonna go to Hunter.
I have a question for you. I'm so sorry. I have to like switch from my phone to my, it's a whole thing. So for the, for the inauguration, I think we had talked about this before, but did they need like some senators to stay? Because if I'm not a senior and I'm not graduating or like walking, you know, like why would I be here, you know? So like why would I be here in that time?
So I'm not sure if Dr. J knows that, but that is something that Olivia and I have another meeting with Hannah on Thursday that we wanted to ask about that, because I was also wondering about underclass or people like, you know, students who aren't seniors who are supposed to leave ahead of time. So we will get that figured out and we will communicate to that to you as soon as we know. We don't, wait, really? Yo! So
the academic calendar says that.
Then we'll all be here and we can all enjoy the inauguration. That's awesome.
We'll clarify that in the future, Peach. Let's not get our minds wrapped around that too quick, because there's a difference between folks who are graduating and staying versus those who are not graduating. But I do know that Dr. J would love to have senators around and other student communities actively involved in participating in the inauguration. But there's more to come around how that engagement will be, given that it's the end of the semester and end of the academic year.
Yeah.
Can I just add something about that? That's just the communication that we've gotten since the beginning, since the like conversation around inauguration has started. So that's just what we're going with until we've been told otherwise. No one's like guaranteed to be like staying on campus later or anything. But that's sort of like the wavelength that we've been put on from both Hannah and other people that have shown interest in Student Senate having involvement. Peach, you probably could have said that just as well. But I just wanted to jump in there and say that that's been the communication since the beginning of talk of inauguration. And so if that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But we're looking towards that based on information we've been given.
Yep. So basically, we want your involvement. We're really excited to be involved with the inauguration and have the chance to represent Senate. And then Alex had a question about the number of non-LVN people that will be on campus during that day. That's going to be a question for Dr. J or Dean Wright, because I have no idea.
And that's still being speculated right now. But when Peach goes back to the meeting with Hannah, those are things that she can clarify with Hannah in her meeting and bring that back to Student Senate. I know that Dr. J just put in there about various speakers that will be participating as well. But Peach, I would advise you just to collect that information and any questions that senators have and just bring that back to the meeting.
I have a notebook full of all the questions everyone has. If you think of something after the meeting, shoot me a message. I'm happy to clarify it, and we'll try to keep you all in the loop. Does anyone have anything to add on this topic while we're here? Cool, gonna move on. Trying to get us out because I think some of us have midterms this week. Next up is going to be the Senate budget approval. So what this is I, as chief of staff, have been asking exec for if there's anything office supplies related that they could see us needing for Senate. And so Hunter is our treasurer, and we'll be able to go over that with you all. Some of the items that are included on there include easels or something like that, which will be perfect for tabling. So if we decide to do that in the next 2 weeks, or whoever is on Senate in the fall, you'll have all the supplies and equipment ready to go. So hopefully you can hit the ground running and really make sure that you're able to be as impactful as possible. So Hunter, take it away.
Yeah, so it's basically all just office supplies. We have a lot of markers and stuff, and like Peach said, easels and whiteboards. So if there's anything else anybody thinks of really quick, you can let me know and I can add it. Currently that adds up to $632.34 in my Amazon, but I know the school gets discounts on a business Amazon account, so it'll probably be cheaper. And then Peach had an idea about patches. Do you want to talk about that at all? Or yeah,
I can. So I would like to see, I looked into it, Senate patches. So it would be our logo that every senator, when they're sworn in or when they become a senator, would be given this patch. And then they can put that patch on a bag or a jean jacket or anything else they want. And yes, if you can't tell, I am a Girl Scout and I'm obsessed with patches. So I just think it would be something really cool and fun and a way to make becoming a senator a little bit more special. And so I'd like to include that in the budget as like office supplies to start that tradition and see that continue. I see Tassi's hand.
So I've been asking for this for the last 4 years, and I guess as we're ordering the last office supplies before I graduate, I'm going to make one final plea that you get blankets for the Senate office. We have very nice couches that are great to nap on, and no blankets. And it is tragic. Hunter, please order blankets, heated ones, if we have room for it in the budget. Thank you.
I see Jim's hand next.
We talked about this. It doesn't seem very sanitary. Maybe in the future, but it'd be nice. I'm sorry. I had.
Alrighty. Anything else? Anyone have anything else to add to that before we move on? We are almost done.
Peach, I think Jim was going back to senators having their own little locker box in the Senate office with like as in kindergarten where you had your little blankie in a locker box. Don't do that.
Aw. I was like, hey, that's an idea. No, okay, fine. Well then. So I would like to hear a motion to approve this budget.
I motion to approve the budget.
Second.
Approved. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, we do have a pet project proposal that I've asked Latrell to speak on. So Latrell, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to join the meeting. It is nice to come back to Senate and reminisce on the good old days when I was on here. I spoke to a couple people earlier about this idea. First and foremost, I want to thank Jason and LaRonda for being on the call as well. So the idea was to take the flyer that LaRonda designed that says "We stand with our Black students on Albion's campus" and have that turned into t-shirts that could be distributed to the student body as a sign of solidarity with our Black students and our BIPOC students on campus to show that we stand united against the racist incidents on campus and to foster community. And so I am working with them to get that done. So I want to bring it before the Senate because we would need both the institutional and the money muscle from Senate in order to get that done. And so I put that out there. LaRonda was gracious enough to get with me earlier and has given us permission to do so since it's her design. Wanted to make sure credit was given where credit is due. And so I'm currently trying to work on figures for that. I did submit the pet project proposal form. It's a little different than the one I'm used to. I'm used to the one that used to be a little bit longer. Still working on numbers. I'm happy to work with any senators who would like to work on this pet project specifically. Just because I will admit I'm not the most experienced in this area of ordering t-shirts, especially at this volume. Probably best to speak with someone in CPO or something because I'm not sure how to allocate sizing necessarily for the student body to make the quantities work for distributing to everyone. But I was thinking enough for at least the entirety of the student body to have those distributed. And so that is just something I wanted to bring forward as a pet project proposal this evening. And Jason and I had talked about meeting after this meeting to see how we can also sort of make that work as well.
Awesome. I was going to add one thing. Yeah, so, right, I think, so you've submitted the pet project application, and then there's a description in there, and then we would be waiting on a proposed budget for that. So
Okay.
once you figure out those numbers, and then a budget and a timeline, and then once we have those, we already have first step, we need second and third, we can run that through for a majority vote, and then we will have discussion on that before we vote on anything. But if obviously you're here to speak today, which is awesome. But yeah, so then we'd talk about it and then vote on that once those two things are in. I don't know if I didn't overstep there, Peach, as vice
No, you're
president.
good. I just want to add that we only have 2 weeks left, that if we are going to be placing a t-shirt order to do this, which I strongly support, I think this is a great idea. We're going to need to get that done ASAP. And so realistically, we really do need to be voting to approve tonight. So we could use some numbers. But if not, then we could do it over GroupMe and ask everyone to approve it over that.
Yes, I understand that the timeline is quite the crunch, so I appreciate everyone's willingness to work on this. I promise I will move with a quickness on this. So I'm hoping within the next few hours / tomorrow, I can iron out the finer details, and so that we can get that done as well. And then I also wanted to just bring up as a quick note, one of the lists of demands that was put together for students on the day today for the protest and the night before was more access to financial literacy resources on campus. So I wanted to speak on behalf of Investment Club as its now former president. I'm still working with the current president, Lexi De La Cruz. Since she's running 2 organizations, I'm still working with her to run Investment Club in a joint capacity as we transition out. But in future years, we would like to partner with Student Senate to co-sponsor a semesterly financial literacy event. The first one that we're planning for the end of the week is the first time we've ever done something like this. And so while we work out the kinks and figure out what's worked well, what hasn't, we would like to take what we learned from this and then take it to Senate for future years so that fulfills some of the needs and requests that were made on behalf of the student body for future years. So as we work with that, I just wanted to put that out there, and I will reach out to the senators that I see often and the ones I live close to see how we can make that work in future years. So I also wanted to put that out there as well. I spoke to some of the members of my exec board on that earlier, so wanted to put that out there as well.
I just have a quick comment or question, more like, so basically, I just have a little bit of a concern with the volume of shirts that we would be ordering, like you'd be ordering. We've been burned before by ordering what we think is an appropriate amount because everyone's going to want a shirt, right? And then having 400 extra, so that just like sort of sit in an office somewhere, so I don't know if this is what Tassi meant with her comment a little bit above, but like an order form, maybe have like a form sent out. And I know this would sort of push back your plans a little bit and like delay it a bit, but have a form sent out asking like who would want a shirt if we were to like order a shirt, if you were to order shirts. And you could put that in like Albion Today, or it could be sent out as like student development, like these shirts. And then you can get like a rough number of people who would want them. So it's not like, well, everyone would want one, because this is a great thing. Order 1,500 and then you have like 600 that just sit somewhere, because I think this is a great idea. And someone also asked how much the homecoming shirts were that we had purchased previously. I think we bought like 500 and they were somewhere around $700. So and like that was a lot, so I'm like a lot relative to whatever it was, but and we just had 300 just like sit and not do anything. So it was just like sort of a big waste of money, but also we found ways to repurpose those shirts. So that would be my only concern. I love this idea. I love everything about it, but it's just the way and like quantity would be my only concern.
No, it's a valid concern, Kim, and just to keep everyone sort of apprised of what the thinking was earlier when this was discussed with a few people. I talked to people about a few different numbers today. I personally was in favor of a more conservative estimate, possibly in line with what people had discussed earlier, the number of attendees that were at the rally today. So the figure that came out for that was about 450, 500. So that was my original thinking. I did want to leave a little slack in case people were open to a wider distribution net, but I do understand the validity of your concern in that regard. So I'm willing to work with appropriations or whoever to figure out what the right sort of figure may be. Engagements, whatever committee might be appropriate in that regard. So I understand that as a concern. So I want to try and work diligently to get this done quickly and efficiently in the next few days as fast as possible.
Right. And I think 500 would be a perfect number as well. Like 500, like more or less than that. Sorry, I know I just cut someone off. My bad.
You're fine. I'm going to step in here. I don't know why I said it like that, but I would just say that for tonight, why don't we go with that 500 figure, and we can vote to approve anywhere from a t-shirt costing like starting at, I don't know, $6 a unit to 10 in that range. I think that would put us in like a good spot if we can vote on that as a senator, and that gives leeway with where you're purchasing. If we need to get this in and done and you have a number of 500, I think that would be okay. If someone, like, I'm not sure that would be like an issue, but I think, yeah, as far as shipping costs too. The only other alternative to get the ball rolling on this is to be voting asynchronous via like ways we've done that in the past, which is GroupMe and things like that. So I'd be in favor of either of those.
Can I jump in here, OP?
Yeah, Olivia.
Really quick. Okay. Latrell, is it just a design on the front of a shirt? Yes? Okay. And are we ordering them for everybody in the student body?
You're muted, my boy.
You're muted.
No, I'm
Thank
not.
you for that.
Oh.
Yes, it would
Okay.
be a design on the front of a t-shirt. I'm trying to keep
Okay.
this simple, cost
Could
effective.
we order it from Custom Ink?
Custom Ink is the first site that I've looked at.
Okay,
Yes, I looked at some
beautiful.
others.
All right. So even if we just order, so I did a range. So I did 500 shirts because that's the last number that was thrown out here. For a design on the front of the shirt, just the front, I did a white shirt, black design. The cost of the shirts alone was $2,730. And with standard free shipping, it would be here by Monday, April 19th. So when I did 1,500 shirts, because I thought we were ordering for everybody, that cost was just under $7,000. That cost was $6,900. So numbers are really easy to come up with, but it depends on where you guys want to go with this. Because then the difference with this shirt and the homecoming shirt, is it going to have the year on it? No, it's a
I
versatile
don't think
shirt,
it needs
right?
to be that elaborate.
Okay, so these shirts can actually be reused for meaningful purposes. It's hard to reuse a homecoming shirt. It's easy to reuse a shirt that has an actual purpose behind it.
Right.
And it's not just, it's like, is it going to be directed completely at Albion College, or is it going to be directed more at like the issues? Because if it's going to be
Well, the intention is to take the design of the flyer and then place that on a shirt so that people can have it constantly with them as a symbol of solidarity. But getting into like having the year attached to it or saying, I think that creates additional concerns that don't need to be raised. I just want to keep it simple, to put the messaging on something that people can take with them, and then have it
Yes,
as
LaRonda, please.
simple as possible.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just trying to step in here and help real quick so we can get the ball moving.
Sure.
So I guess it depends on how many shirts we want. Okay. Okay. There's going to be color in that shirt. So it might end up being a little bit more because it's not just going to be one color, one design. I can get this design. I'll put it into custom ink. I will figure out what the costs are, and I can send them in the Senate group chat within the next 20 minutes. Because it depends on how much money is in the pet project budget.
But we haven't done that much, and while I don't have exact numbers, we should have a decent amount in there.
I don't know. I think if we start with 500, like Dean Wright said, that would be a really good move, especially since these things are going to be here in 2 weeks if we order them tomorrow. Just a thought, just to throw those actual exact things out there at you guys.
Yeah.
Tassie, if you drop your email, I can actually send you the graphics so you don't have to, it won't be blurry or anything like that.
Let's plan to approve that asynchronous and in GroupMe. Thank you, Tassie, for that. I didn't even know that was a feature, so that would be awesome. That would mean a lot of participation within our GroupMe. So, yeah, and then we'll look at those pet project numbers as soon as we get off the call and share those with everyone. Okay, then we can move forward. Is there anything that you have, Latrell?
No, that was what I wanted to move forward, and then that's all I have now. And then I will talk to people after this meeting. If anyone would like to reach out to me separately, I will drop my email, and then I'll know everyone on this call that at least I can see right now. So you guys have my Snapchat number. People know where to find me. So I will leave my email. And then if anyone needs to reach me, there's additional contact information that anyone can distribute my contact information. It's fine.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Latrell, for being here and speaking on that. I think it's a really cool project, and I'm excited that we're going to have a pet project for this semester. Also, thank you, LaRonda, for being here and for your work and your time. It's a really cool image, and I'm really excited to see it on a shirt eventually. Hopefully soon. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next thing. We're almost done, guys, I promise. Really quick, this is a reminder to exec and also an FYI to everyone who's not an exec that we are putting together a Board of Trustees report so that we will be submitting to the Board of Trustees. So what that means is that your committee should be working together to compile a nice, wow, I forgot words, I'm tired, document of the things you've done, for instance, to make it a little bit more personal, like a mini report. My suggestion, one of the things I thought of was that appropriations could do a report with clubs and how much they asked for this semester. But you could also include brief one-sentence summaries taken from each budget to help demonstrate how students are staying involved and active even with COVID. And so that would be one way that you could try to make it a little bit longer and more informative. So we're really, sharing and using our resources wisely. We have the time, so we should use it. So just please work on that in your committees and get it to me by Sunday, if you can. And then finally, we have a demonstration update. Jason, did you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. So just a quick update on the demonstration. We compiled all the information that we gathered today from the demands and concerns list. I know you guys talked a lot about cameras earlier, so it was nice to hear that on the agenda board tonight with Res Life. We also developed the mission statement. So for individuals that are interested in whatever our direction is, we'll be able to have that available in public. For those who are interested and are super aware of what we're doing, I'll read off that mission statement really quickly. The Albion College Student Boycott is a student-led initiative with the goal to increase administrative transparency when resolving campus-wide issues, displaying support with students in their demands and concerns to campus issues, and strengthening the relations between Albion's community and the campus. Fortunately, a lot of the things that we're standing on are a lot of things the college already stands aligned with. So we look forward to working with the college to strengthen a lot of those relationships between the concerns and the demands of the students and a lot of the initiatives the college is already aligned with. Tomorrow, we'll actually be having a demonstration again that'll take place starting at The Rock. We'll go from The Rock to Wesley and demonstrate in front of Wesley, and then from Wesley to Twin. Just because the individuals who are comfortable and probably are inside writing in these residential dorms are not coming to these meetings or in these spaces where these conversations are happening. So we want to bring the uncomfortability to them. So that's where we'll be protesting and demonstrating. Going forward, we look to sit down with Keena Williams to discuss some of these concerns and these demands. And then after that, we look forward to presenting them to Dr. Johnson and having some of that those compiled concerns and demands to be offered to Student Senate when you guys finish your report and submit it to the Board of Trustees. So that's kind of where we're at in terms of the demonstration. If there's any questions or anybody that wants to be more involved or have a seat at that table, we are always looking for more input because we think really the goal is to get as many student concerns as possible. And I know Student Senate does a great job, like you talked about the tabling you used to do in a KC. I know foot traffic has died down due to COVID and not a lot of people going through there. But the students, I think Student Senate has had a great amount of initiatives engaging with the students in this protest, in this goal that we're working on right now, just piggybacks off a lot of the moments of the college already curated.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Tassi, did you have a comment question?
No. Okay. Can I present my screen really quick?
Yes, hold on. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Jason at this moment before we take a look at the design?
Just thanks for coming, Jason. I appreciate that. I know it is late, but hearing those updates directly from you is a big deal for Senate. So thank you.
Of course, thank you all for having me. And I apologize for missing previously. I've been super busy, but I appreciate you all for continuously opening that door for students to come and be able to sit at your table. So thank you.
Always. Thanks.
Okay, Tassi, all you.
Beautiful. You guys see it?
Yep.
Okay, so this is Lil Rhonda sent me the shirt design. I ended up putting it on a black shirt because the design worked better that way. If we don't like it, we just had to change the color of the font. I just wanted to leave that up to the people who designed it. I don't want to mess anything with the design. It's simply not mine. So I don't want to do that. So at the moment, if we order 750 of these shirts, and that includes sizes like 2XL, 3XL, 4XL, because those ones cost more. So I included those in there. So we would have an overestimate versus an underestimate. 750 of them would cost $5,767.50. They would be here by April 19th, guaranteed delivery for free. So the actual cost would be that 5.7 figure that I just stated. I've been around the block a time or two with this.
Awesome. Does everyone feel comfortable? Can we vote to approve this so Latrell can get started on the t-shirts? I'd like to hear a motion to approve.
I want to hear who has access to the pet project funds. I don't want to approve something and say yes before we know. Is that a like Chris question or?
Chris should have it.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure pet projects go through the treasurer.
was
But
gonna
I
say-
haven't had to deal with any yet myself.
Archer should have that information.
And I do not.
Do you, Chris, do you have like the breakdown of everything for the semester? Because it should be listed our budget on there, at least.
No, I don't have any of that stuff, just the overall budgets for like the clubs and organizations. I don't have any budget specifics for Student Senate. I just haven't, I guess, received any of that yet from Senate itself.
Jen hasn't sent you like a rollout of like this is how much money is rolled over from last semester and this is how much is allocated to each. It's called like the allocation letter.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that from Jen yet, but I can touch base with her tomorrow and see if I
Okay.
can get a hold of that.
Because that should say at least how much we have in total for the semester.
Sure.
I would be asking the question, I guess, then, can we approve unless otherwise stopped by budget? I don't know. I would say that would be possible. And then having open lines of communication there.
I saw Matt's hand and then Samantha. If it's related to this, unless you have something else, then we'll table that for a second.
Mine's related, but I don't know if Matt wants to go first.
Yeah, I thought, are we approving for 750 or 500? Because I thought we were talking about 500.
Hey guys, quick jump back in. I don't have rollover, but I do have what our current budget is. Lindy, is that what you're referring to? Yes, I'm seeing head nods. Okay. So currently, where'd it go now? Bring it back. There we go. We're working with $12,171, and that's of March 12th.
I only
But that's the only number I have right now.
I'd only said something about the church because I think Tassi said 750, not 500. That's why I was just questioning it.
Okay.
So my suspicion is that we have not spent $12,000 since March, but we never know. So let's try to wrap this up and Dean Wright, do you have something you want to add?
I was just going to add, Dr. J put in an interesting point about how do you have a dollar that supports not only pay for t-shirts, but also provide a portion of that to the Albion Community NAACP, where Mayola Dunklin participated and Hazel Lyles participated as representatives of the community and the NAACP today. That would be an awesome gesture as a suggestion that was put out there as well. I didn't know if people saw that in the chat box.
I just had a point of clarification, if that's okay. I know we're getting on and on in this meeting, but so are we good to approve the pet project for 500 shirts or 700? Because I know we're sort of hopping around that number. I know Tassi, you gave us the figure for 750. I'm sorry, but I think we had agreed on 500. So could you possibly do that same figure with 500, including those 4X, 3X, 2X, XL shirts? And then like Dean Wright said, if we don't have enough, we can always order more. If the demand is there. Also, I really like the idea of the donations. And could we approve this asynchronously once we get that from Jin Yawson? That like actual the actual number.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in now because I didn't get called on, so I just did it. Two things. One, I really like the idea of a donation, and that kind of refutes like my next point, which I'll get to. But instead of like making it a fixed donation, maybe we could do as much as you would like to towards the organization, because some students, I mean, $1 is not that much, but some students might not have that to donate but still want to support by wearing the shirt, and then other students might donate more. And then, so with the donation, I think this is a really good idea, but I just wanted to make sure with as much money as $6,000, this is the best way that we can support this group, and make sure with that money there's not other things we could do that might be more beneficial. But I think with the setup of the shirts with the donations, this is a really good option.
I have a figure for the 500 shirts if we would like to know what that figure is. And that figure is $4,165, and that is going to include the free shipping, and the shirts will be here by Monday, April 19th, guaranteed, or I will call the company myself.
Do you all
The
want
shirts
to?
are
Do you all want to get at least another company to make a comparison to, and not solely just focus on that one company? Because I know Jennifer Yawson has ordered T-shirts from multiple companies and could probably find cheaper T-shirts to help navigate that process. So that's why I keep referring to Luttrell and Hunter where appropriate. Once the Student Senate approves the pathway, they can work through the financial support with Jennifer Yawson and Campus Life, so that you're not talking in circles about the T-shirts and how you're gonna pay for it.
Maybe we can make that the ceiling for like the price.
Can we put a $5,000 ceiling? Would that
Yeah.
work for people? A $5,000 ceiling? Can I motion to vote to approve a $5,000 ceiling for the shirts?
Second.
So moved, but yeah.
Any objections, say now or hold your peace. All right, cool. Approved. Huzzah. Thank you so much for everyone's work on that. We went late, but that's okay. We got some stuff done. We got some new information, and I thank you all for sticking with us and for having your cameras on. I would also like to give a shout out to Dr. J for saying that the president's office will match whatever we raise in the donations to the NAACP. That's really cool. Very exciting. Yeah, let's get started. Let's make it happen, y'all. Does anyone have anything else before we head out for the night?
All right. Thank you guys for sticking around for so long. Peach, thank you for taking the reins on a lot of this and doing some great work. And looks like Dr. Johnson has raised a hand, and we can call on him.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks everybody for sticking around and the hard work. And I hope that the Senate will consider sweat-free sourcing of your shirts.
Thanks for that. Yeah. I
Do you have a website that you recommend, Dr. J?
Yeah, I'll send it along to you, Tasi.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, Dr. J. And thank you to all of our guests. Excuse me. And we will motion to adjourn this meeting.
I will say, yeah, to touch on, before we adjourn, I do want to touch on Jim's point that this was really productive. This was a great meeting. I feel like we've actually gotten a lot done. Thank you so much for everyone, your patience, your persistence. We have 2 weeks left. Let's do it. Let's kick some butt. So thank you. Have a great night.
Wait, we didn't adjourn the meeting.
I motion to
meeting.
adjourn meeting.
Second.
Hey, Patrick.
Okay. Meeting adjourned at 11:03 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Please get some rest.
Olivia, 30 seconds. We got to talk about social media.
Hold on. Patrick, are you still on here? Is he still on here? No.
He dipped.
I want an extension on my paper. Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Tasi.
Listen, it's 3 pages, but it's 11 o'clock and I haven't eaten dinner yet.
Just
do tomorrow.
I know, but
Just
it's
send him a text message.
Lord,
Just send him a
girl.
text message. He's very responsive.
Latrell, it takes me so long to type with a broken arm.
Oh, I forgot you
No,
had that.
then Patrick should definitely give you an extension. Don't worry about it.
Look, it's glittery. Do you guys see it glitter? Do you guys see it
Very
catching
cool.
my light? I got a new one today.
You know, Word has voice dictation now.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
Oh,
throwing that out
thanks,
there.
Dr. J. Hold on.
Thank you. This will be also
Tassie,
side note.
are
That will
people-
be a fun resource to use for other clubs. We can like put it out for other clubs to try to use, and we can try to like get people to use that, so it will be more sustainable in the future.
I am signing off, but thank you everyone for having me and taking the time to listen. I will circle back around with everyone who I've talked to on phone with the sidebars and stuff, and we'll get that sorted and coordinated. But thank you everyone. So have a good
Thanks.
night.
Thank you. See you later.
Tassie, are
And
people
Peach,
able to
will-
sign your cast or?
Yeah, do you
You
want to
just-
sign it? I ordered
will.
special markers